Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
How can you be for him? They are just sitting there going against the Baba Yaga, the boogeyman, Trump. So essentially, their whole approach is negative. What have they been for except for this cult and against Trump? And you see, Trump is becoming contiguous with the figurehead for masculinity, for the masculine principle. And that's where they're going to go wrong. And the other thing is I don't know why the Republican Party isn't making more out of it than they are. But
because it's all the same side.
Yeah, but you see, the image of Biden is sitting up there trying to nuzzle up to some uncomfortable child who's looking over his shoulder like, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
Dirty old man.
Mm. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
All I know is that the Taliban didn't have any F-16s in Afghanistan. They did okay without them.
And then the other thing is, what's wrong with the Republican Party that they don't eat that shit up on those 3 laptops that crackhead Hunter had, where he is screwing Obama's daughter in those things, full on screwing her.
I heard that.
Wait, what?
I saw a picture.
Wait, what?
I saw a picture. Wait a minute. I saw a picture that looked like it could have been one of Michelle Obama's daughters. Couldn't see her face fully.
We played the allegedly, but
it looked like it could have been. It is. So he's got that stuff in there. That's just some of the stuff that they kind of censored the rest. He's screwing the president's daughter. How old was she? 17, 16? And this is Hunter Biden. And he thought he was a porn star because he got a 10-inch dick. So he's taping it.
Okay, let me protect you, Judge. Hold on.
Allegedly.
There we go.
Allegedly. According to someone's allegation. According to someone's conspicuous impressions, which could be alleged ensuingly. A. L. L. E. G. E. D. L. Y. Allegedly.
This stuff is all through Europe, but our press is censoring it, so their little darling does not get tainted and stop him from being a functionary and, imposing the new religion.
Well, the Justice Department just admitted that laptop is real. They just admitted it in their new set of filings. It isn't Russian disinformation. That's officially now from the Justice Department.
Wait. November 2022. I was in New Jersey. Fox was doing a thing where they were having a moot court proceeding in front of a jury. It looked valid as a jury for a grand jury, a moot grand jury on whether or not there was probable cause to believe that Hunter Biden had violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA. And it was 3 laptops. We had the technician. We swore him in, got his testimony, and the exhibits were the downloads for the 3 laptops. And he had the authorization from crackhead Hunter. And he tried to turn it over to the feds. They didn't want it. He turned it over to his daddy, who had been in military intelligence. They wound up getting, what's his name, the former mayor who represented Trump. They gave it to him, and it went over to Europe. And then the FBI knocked on his door early one morning and got the laptops, but he had already downloaded them by then. So, yeah. I mean, I'll put it this way. Allegedly, it was the president's daughter, but it sure as hell looked like it. I'll just leave it at that. But there's more in there, so you don't have any question as to who it was.
I never did.
They say all black people look alike, so,
No. It's got a very distinctive birthmark on the back of her thigh. is a discoloration, and every time she sports around in one of her bikini sets, you can see it. So if you look at a picture of her looking face on, and you look at what's on the laptop, you see the identical birthmark, but in the laptop you see the face too. I'll just say it was obscured for purposes of smooth jewelry.
Isn't that special?
Yeah,
remember, 51 intelligence. Remember, 51 intelligence agents wrote a letter assuring the American people that those laptops had all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. 51 of them, like Heinz 57 or 51 or whatever. They assured us that it was probably Russian disinformation.
Yeah, I know, and it was bullshit. But I tell you what is even more convincing, the fact that the intelligence communities for just about every country in NATO went over them. And you know why? Because this crackhead had stuff on those laptops that got out there that could get a whole lot of people put on a wall and shot. And they verified that it was legit. But that's been several years ago. And we, meanwhile, don't even get an open report on it.
Crackhead Biden. I mean, Hunter. Did you just make that up, or is that what?
I've heard lots of people call
Well, they found cocaine on his gun pouch. They just revealed they found cocaine on his gun pouch.
And he's indicted on that right now. Falsified statements on an application to purchase a gun. Federal law.
Who's indicted?
This is a lot.
You think Hunter Biden is indicted?
Yeah, he got indicted.
I didn't know that. He is or is not?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So he's under indictment. Some grand jury found probable cause. Now, how in the hell that crackhead gets laptops, gets White House tapes? And by the way, there's ample grounds to proceed against Hunter and Obama for treason. Because one of the more startling things on there is Obama is leaning up against the front of his desk with his arms typically folded, which body language-wise shows somebody is being deceitful. And sitting in front of him is Hunter, and sitting next to Hunter is his dad, Joe. And there's this Chinese agent in there, or businessman, and the Chinese businessman has been discussing with the three of them that the Chinese government wants the U.S. Navy to back off of its aggressive counter patrols in the South China Sea. And in return for doing that, he has detailed how he has had transferred $100 million in cash through this business entity that Hunter Biden's with, and he's agreed that Barack gets 10%, Joe gets 10%, Hunter gets 10%, and Barack sits there on this tape and verifies it. He says, now let me get this straight. I get 10%, Joe gets 10%, and Hunter gets 10%. He said, that's right, you each get $10 million in cash. And then timeline-wise, about 2 months later, Military Times is filled with stuff in their Navy sections. The admiral's upset that they've been told to back off of the aggressive counter patrols in South China Sea. And if I recall, the objective is to give the People's Republic of China, the People's Republic Army, the Army of the People's Republic, the Navy, the opportunity to come in there and build these concrete emplacements on these coral atolls that are just below the surface in the South China Sea, so China could claim 200-mile territorial radius, which now extends all the way up to the main U.S. naval base in the Philippines, all of the territorial waters for Western Japan, for all of Korea, Vietnam, and a few other places. So it is really horrendous what's going on. And if that is not a fabrication, then somebody needs to be called to account for it. And also on those laptops, Joe Biden is directing Hunter Biden to take his guests by the family property and look in the box behind the vet, and they will find what they need. What did they think of it? You know, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, family, pardon the interruption, all right? Listen. Oh, I forgot. You're listening to the voice of Valerie Denise Jones, back at it again here on this here channel, this here platform. All right, so let's do some housekeeping before I get started. We're family, right? Y'all are my peeps. So you know what? I need your help. I need your support. I need you to help me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, starting with the like button. Please hit the like button because I don't think that I'm in the algorithm. I think because I was away for so long, people are not getting the notifications. This audio is not being shared. It's not being suggested. So I need us as a family to help this thing move forward. Please, please, please support me and share if you care. Support me by any means necessary. I need anything you got, give it to me, all right? Please, please, please do that ASAP, all right? Thank you in advance. All right, so what you're about to hear is a promo for a live broadcast featuring Silk. You remember Silk of the duo Diamond and Silk, R.I.P. to Diamond. But Silk is going to be in the building, and so I don't know if you don't like Trump and you don't support him and his antics and stuff that he stands for, then you're probably not going to like the rest of this. But I am sure you're going to find something in this audio that you like. Also, we're going to address two things regarding the border that I really need you to pay attention to, okay? So I'm not going to be back, doing any more audio, but I need you to listen. Please listen. And then meet me down in the comment section, all right? Hit the like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and share if you care. I love you to life. Bye.
Welcome back to the News at 5. Texas Democrats condemning Governor Greg Abbott and calling on Congress to take action at the border. The calls come after a mother and two children drowned trying to cross the Rio Grande into Texas on Friday. Federal authorities say they were unable to reach them because Texas seized control of a city park and has blocked Border Patrol from accessing it. During a news conference today, State Representative Eddie Morales, who represents Eagle Pass, where this happened, called for a temporary moratorium on all asylum seekers.
Ending asylum entry now on a temporary basis is a humanitarian act to protect migrants, especially in light of the most recent events from certain Texas state leaders whose actions and recent comments show a lack of compassion and understanding.
Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro says Governor Abbott and Texas Republicans have become, quote, bloodthirsty. And Congresswoman Veronica Escobar says Republican leaders are turning America, which was once a beacon of hope for migrants, into a place that is harming them. Both are calling on Congress to step in and address the border.
All right, Judge, we got Miss Luna Lopez. Lord, I'm combining her name.
How you doing? Good hearing from you again. And by the way, that's a piece of clock we just heard.
It was your photo, Miss Lopez, that threw me off, the spicy one.
Thanks. I was doing the rock on symbol in that because I after I finished running, I announced that I wasn't going to run again, and I've just been putting all of my passion back into my band for a while. So that's why my photo looks like this.
I'm sorry, Judge. What were you saying?
Ms. Lopez is one of our stars. Madam Lopez, how you doing? I haven't seen you since Atlanta.
I know. I've missed talking to you. How are you?
All right. We were talking about this absurdity down there in Texas. They're getting all upset because a lawbreaker drowned in the process of breaking the law and invading the United States of America. Now,
isn't it hysterical that they are getting on to Governor Abbott for a lack of compassion when really, in all trueness, they want him to have a lack of compassion for the Americans. They don't care about what we have to deal with.
Long-term death and destruction that they're putting in place, and they're worried about somebody drowning because they chose to get in a situation they couldn't handle and disregarded the consequences like that whole blue side does. There are no consequences. And you don't give a damn about the death that's going to come about because of what you were supporting. It's like this whole thing with their posture on Second Amendment. Get rid of guns, oh, my God. Well, who's going to protect you from all of this crime you're causing because you get away from teaching children character? Well, the police can do it, but you are for defunding the police, you damn hypocrite. What the hell?
But, Judge, even then they're lying about the circumstances. These people drowned an hour before the Border Patrol was even notified. They're lying about it, and they're completely ignoring the fact that over 1,500, quote, migrants, unquote, have died in the process of trying to get across the United States border under Joe Biden's watch, enticed to come here by him. They're ignoring that while they lie to us about what happened to these three people.
Yeah, absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. It's hypocrisy. But of course, you see, this group is illogical, irrational, and unreasonable, and they don't think stuff through, and their existential situation is really horrible because they no longer think about life, they just think about want. In other words, if it feels good, then it's good, irrespective of the consequences. Eat all the candy you want, even if it rots your teeth out.
You know, a lot of people, though, I'm in an industry where I come across a lot of people, a lot of walks of life, and I get to spend hours at a time with each client talking to them. And a lot of people are truly waking up. There's an awakening happening on all over, and both sides of the fence are really, I just said both sides of the fence, both sides of the political aisle, no pun intended on that. They are frustrated with that situation. They really see it because we all know why it's happening. It's just part of the plan. This is to destabilize our country. I mean, so now that there's a lot of people in my personal neck of the woods that are starting to wake up that I would have never thought would say the things that they're saying, I'm hoping for some change here coming because the last 4 years have really racked everybody pretty hard.
Well, I'm still awaiting an apology to those Border Patrol agents who are using well-established dressage techniques for making a horse move laterally, and then taking the image of that and saying that was an example of them whipping illegal aliens. Joe Biden has never apologized for his calumny of those hard-working Border Patrol agents. And he won't.
And he never will. He never will. He never will.
It's amazing. Just amazing.
Yep. There's
no truth to this administration.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bigger picture here is just the NWO. I don't know how people feel about that, but I understand that a global movement has been well rooted, and I just, I had a lot of inner introspection that I had to do after my congressional run, because what I realized was both sides of the line, it's all the same entity. It really is remarkable how the entire all our belief that we have of our government it's all a lie. It's all a lie. There's one party there. You have your individuals playing good guy and you have your individuals playing bad guy, but this stuff this is part of the plan to destabilize, and I don't think they're going to put the wall. We need Trump back. That's what we need. We need Trump. And in my community, there's a lot of Democrat voters that have told me personally, now in hindsight, now they want Trump back. So I'm really hoping we get him back, because in my opinion, he's our only hope. Do I like how he talks most of the time? He could probably clean that up, but I like what he does as far as his actions.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure as hell voting for him. And you know what? I mentioned it earlier. That new thing from the far left, better dead than red, we got to get over that. Because if you don't go red, you might be dead. You can't walk down the street.
I hadn't even heard that. I didn't even hear this yet.
Well, that's it. I kind of look at what they're doing is that.
I'm so discouraged. I am very, I'm hopeful, but the reality side of my mind is the part that I can't separate from. It's just, I mean, shoot, I sit there and I think, oh, maybe I should move. You know, let's go to the islands or something. I don't know, but it's really sad to see what my children are going to be facing in their future, how much legacy we've lost, how much values we've lost, how much togetherness we've lost as a country. Just there's no, they're preaching and pushing not dissension, but you know, they want everyone disagreeable with each other. They want everyone arguing and confused, and so you stay distracted and bickering so they can just keep flooding all of these quote-unquote refugees from the Middle East in here. And it's just, you know, I can't get caught up in all that anymore. I have just been setting myself up to be able to protect my family, sustain myself and my family. And I don't know. We'll see how the cards play out this coming up election. But it's really sad to see what's happened here. It really is. It really is.
So we will use all levers at our disposal to win the fight. I think if you look at if somebody is breaking through the border wall, which they are doing in other parts, demonstrating hostile intent or hostile action, you have to be able to meet that with the appropriate use of force. I don't see how you can just let them do that and carve through a wall on sovereign U.S. territory with a backpack full of drugs. And so of course you use deadly force. I mean, how would you let somebody just break into your house and do you harm? No, and I could tell you in Texas they wouldn't do that. You know, try that in Texas. Why is our country any different? And these guys will bring like blowtorches. They have a huge thing that the cartels are doing. And how embarrassing is it that we have in the places we have a wall? I was there the other day in Arizona. They're repairing the wall because they busted through the wall. I mean, that is just unacceptable. And I tell you, if you drop a couple of these cartel operatives trying to do that, you're not going to have to worry about that anymore. They will not mess. They're only messing with it because they know they can get away with it.
Mm-hmm. I figure we can land our plane on that. That was actually DeSantis calls for use of deadly force against migrants breaking through the border wall. Shout out to Forbes magazine or Forbes News. So I figure we could end there and get your final thoughts regarding Governor Abbott.
The title is so deceptive. The title is deceptive. He's not saying it against migrants. He's saying it against illegals that come and break the law by trying to break into your home. This is our home. Our country is our home. In the same way we lock our doors and we don't allow someone to break our front door, why would we allow someone to break through our borders instead of going to the proper avenue? So I agree with him.
You know what? I'm glad you caught that too. This video was dated 6 months ago, and it was at a press briefing in Texas. And that's exactly how they titled it. They said at a press briefing, Governor Ron DeSantis called for use of deadly force against migrants breaking through the border wall. Yeah, that's exactly how they titled it. So thanks for catching that.
Yeah, it's these subtleties. They do it a lot. You know, because they're relying on the fact that people are too distracted to pay attention to these things, and they're absorbing that information. Next thing you know, they're going and telling their friends, "Can you believe DeSantis is attacking migrants?" That's such a different statement.
let me say this. I can remember a while back. It's been a while. I was traveling in a foreign country, and I'm waiting in line to go through essentially a checkpoint, and there is this dotted line on the floor. And I stepped on it because I was trying to see how long the line was. And I heard the very distinctive sound of Kalashnikov axes being racked and rounds chambered behind me. I said, oh, shit. So I threw my hands up, and I apologize for being an ignorant American, and I saw at least 5 AK-47s leveled at me, fingers not alongside the trigger guard, but in the trigger guard, and I'm going, excuse me. Now, they're going to blow my ass away because I stepped on a damn dotted line. And that's international protocol. Now, coming through Miami Airport one time with my ex-wife back a while ago, I was familiar with the antics that some people would play in customs. So there is a staircase that goes up the wall, and it leads to a door. And if you go through that, you break out of the secure area. And some clowns were down there trying. You go up that stairs. I said, I know what it is. I'm not going to. But I don't give a damn. My wife and I are not going up there. Well, a little naive young couple came along behind us. They did. Alarm went off. They threw the guy on the wall, got an elbow put in the back of his neck. They threw his wife, I guess, or his girlfriend down on the ground. She had on a little sundress. It flopped up, and her bare ass was showing around D-string she had on a thong bottom. And somebody put a knee on her back, just like they did with George Floyd. And everybody down below was yelling, they told him to go up there. They told him to go up there. So the supervisor came, and he wrote him up because they'd obviously been doing it before. So if they can throw American citizens down and do that to them, then what the hell are you doing when you got illegals coming in?
Right.
And you give them an invite, and you give them free medical care. Yeah, but forget common sense.
That's not a tool in this war. Common sense is a thing of the past.
Well, and respect for our laws is even further away, to say nothing of the Constitution.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, ladies,
and and what about that little thing? And what about that little thing in the oath of the president's office? Take care that the laws be faithfully executed. That might have a little bit of bearing on the situation too. They're being ignored.
The question is, what can we really do about it when we have a government that does not honor the election process? You know, the Electoral College was supposed to be, okay, I represent Florida, and everyone that voted in Florida, majority wants X candidate, so I'm going to vote X candidate. That's not happening. So what is the fix when the government does not represent the people at all?
I think there's something in the Declaration about abolishing a form of government. Well, we need to abolish the Biden administration in its next election. It needs to be abolished. It needs to be ended, thrown out of office, and put one in that will bear some fidelity to the Constitution and the laws enacted by the legislature.
And that's why they want to take our guns.
That's a reason.
You can't. I mean, you can't take down a government that is not representing the people if they disarm you. Oh, and they make you information you see. Nobody knows what's going on. It's an incapacitated population that's just sitting there like sheep going, what do we do? What do we do? And we don't have enough people that are brave enough to get the job done and stand up to them, because the second you do, guess what happens? You're like the J6 prisoners that are political collateral. You're sitting there being tortured.
Well, you know what a wise person said about that? A wise person said about that, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. And right now, we need to ensure that the government has some measure of fearful respect for the capabilities of the citizenry to rebel against any tyranny that it attempts to inflict upon. And that's one reason they want to go after the guns, to foreclose that possibility.
You know, it makes me think of January 6th, because what happened there was insane. I mean, I've got a personal friend of mine that was there that was actually assisting a cop from getting beat up and tore up, and he has now got sentenced to 5 years in jail for what happened at J6. And you have, so let's say we go to stand up to our government. You see what's happening. They throw that. The Constitution is not honored by our own government. They throw you in jail for holding them accountable. They throw you in jail, so that people are afraid to do it, and everybody's laying back, going, "All right, okay." You know, it's incredibly frustrating that we don't have a country this size to be able to draw up enough people to fix this. I just don't understand it.
Well, they're there. They're there. I mean, we've got 330 million people in this country. I know there's probably about 3 or 4 million of them at least willing to stand up for that. The question is whether or not they can be organized and mobilized. So, I mean, they're there. Right. You know, but look, what you just said is so true, because look, they just went after they're trying to put a president of the United States in jail on the most specious of charges. I've read a lot of indictments. And I've read all the indictments against them in these cases. I've rarely seen anything as weak and watery as these things are. And yet they're being presented in court, and they're trying to bring a former president of the United States, who in his capacity as president of the United States, addressing his constituency, told his people to go peacefully and patriotically protest. Right. And somehow they have transmogrified that into an incitement to insurrection. So if they can do that to him, think of what they can do to any of us.
Yep. And they're just showing the rest of the world leaders, they're not on our side. They're on their side. They're working with. This is crazy, because you think they would respect us as a country if this is what they're doing to us. They know we look like the biggest bunch of idiots to the rest of the world. We just look like the biggest bunch of idiots, you know? And yeah. Exactly. If they can do that to a president, you think, and that's kind of why I had to take a personal choice to step back from politics, because it's sick. It's really sick. Everywhere you turn in there, I've never seen so much sickness in my life. And if something pops off around, in this country, I want to be available where I can really fight for my country the right way, not sitting up there twiddling my thumbs. I don't even understand it anymore. We need people to wake up, and we need people to get moving and, hold our government accountable. I'm not saying be violent, but I'm not saying don't, and I'm not saying do. I'm just saying we need to do something.
Well, we're certainly approaching one of those, epochal moments in American history. We're on the threshold of one thing or another. And I'm not going to say that one thing or another is, but we're certainly on the threshold of it. And I still think there are ways to resolve it through the political process. But key to that, I think overwhelmingly in this election, I think the most important single thing to ensuring an outcome that is seen as fair by the majority of the American electorate is restoring the election integrity. And that means the abolition, to the extent we can get it, of universal mail-in balloting in every state, a return of paper ballots, signature verification where mail-in ballots are allowed for a certain small segment of the voting public, voter ID, and in-person same-day voting. I think that's really the only way to restore the faith of the electorate in the voting process, which, by the way, is the means by which we make transitions of power peacefully. Where there is no right to vote, then the only way power can be changed is through some sort of violent revolution. That's the entire purpose of a seen to be fair election.
That's the point I'm making, because the elections are now compromised. So I don't have any faith in the election process anymore unless we go back to same day, paper, and with your ID, because this has been the easiest way for the globalists to make sure that they keep who they want in sitting right there in this little puppet government of the United States that still is being owned and run and screwed by the crown.
But let's face it, those states that still allow for universal mail-in balloting are doing it, I believe, because they want to make it easier to cheat. So we got to face that reality.
Local elections are so important. When we've got on the local level, county, state, district, all that on the smaller level, we've really got to start electing people that are really truly not tied to any establishment at all. And then it should trickle up, because if they understand the states' rights, then they'll use the power that they have in that to defy the federal government where it is being tyrannical. Just like DeSantis and Abbott are doing, you know.
Well, the Constitution of the state of Pennsylvania has very specific guidelines for who is allowed to vote by mail. Very specific in the not just in statute law, but in their Constitution. And the legislature of the state of Pennsylvania simply disregarded all of that without amending their Constitution first, and allowed for universal mail-in ballot and ballot harvesting, despite the fact that the very Constitution forbade it. And a court, the second highest court in Pennsylvania, ruled that that was a violation of the Pennsylvania Constitution, yet and still their electoral votes were allowed to be counted at the time the certification came on January 6th. See, I'm telling you, there was, forget election fraud, forget that for a moment. I'm not saying you should. I just set it aside for a moment. The constitutional violation of Article 2, meaning how the state legislature is supposed to determine the method of selecting electors, was violated in at least 5 states. At least they violated that. Right, that has nothing to do with election fraud. That has to do with a simple violation of the Constitution. And at the very least, those states should have had their certification sent back to them for reconsideration. And that's what Mike Pence should have done.
That's a whole nother can of worms right there.
That's right. And everybody, you got no authority. You know, according to them, the only ministerial, ceremonial job in the Constitution is President Pro Tem of the Senate when it comes to counting the electoral, making the electoral count. That's the only. The Constitution doesn't have any ceremonial jobs. And name one. There is none. They all have specific duties. But they're saying that the vice president's job solely is to count them and send them on to Congress.
I think I'm just going to move.
And by the way, they had to amend the Electoral Count Act of 1877 in December of 2021 to say just that the vice president's role in the count is just ministerial. All he does is transmit the result, and that probably is unconstitutional. But they did amend it. They did amend it in December of 2021 to indicate that which previously had not been clear, according to the act, that is. So, you know, I mean, we know we got to restore election integrity. I think that is the biggest issue in this election. Not whether or not Donald Trump can win. I'm certain he can win. It's whether or not the election is fair, and it's seen to be fair, with meaningful election reform and getting rid of the plandemic, that's what I said, I said it, the plandemic procedures to enable the fraud that stole the election.
There's a movie out on Netflix right now called with Sandra Bullock, something about watching the world or something. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. But the point is in this movie, it lays out, you just said plandemic. It lays it all out, just exactly what has happened these last 4 years and like where we're at right now. And it's funny, it's ironic almost, just how Hollywood just puts it right in your face. But if you're awake enough, you can see it. You can see what's coming, and they're just taunting it and flaunting it right in front of your face. What is that name of that movie? Let me look, because you got to look at it. And there's been several movies through the past, like Contagion and different things like that. But let's see, Sandra Bullock. It is called, Ethan Hawke's in it too. And Leave the World Behind. It is.
Oh, that's Obama's Netflix movie.
He's putting it
that's the one he produced. He produced it. Him and Michelle produced that sucker.
And it's in film. I
didn't know that. I thought that was Julia Roberts. I didn't know that was Sandra.
And it's Martha's
Sandra Bullock,
I believe. Or sorry, no.
I haven't watched
Julia
it.
Roberts. I don't know why.
Julia Roberts.
I meant to say Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts. I was thinking of that Bird movie or whatever. But they put it right there in your face. It's right there. It's the arrogance and the haughtiness of it, and it's sad. Half the people that watch that movie are not going to put two and two together. They're not. But they go right there and they explain to you about how they destabilize the people to cause civil war, and that fear factor. If they don't use a contagion as the fear part. They use it's heavily implied that AI is what's going to attempt to kill us all. But the whole premise of the movie, it literally just maps out what we've been living through, and it's amazing that they put it right there in our face like that.
Yeah, it is.
Not to mention,
but it shows how brazen they are.
Now I don't
want to control the levers of power, and they're brazen. They control the levers of power, and they believe they're invulnerable to any serious criticism or any scrutiny. And to a great extent, they're not wrong. Unfortunately.
Yeah. True. I mean, we've got people that are asleep still. You need to wake up. This is truly about life and death. Every world power falls. That's inevitable at some point. But where are you going to be at when that happens?
Yeah, we don't have to commit suicide, do we? And right now, the United States is committing self-inflicted suicide.
Right. Yep.
And that's not necessary.
Yeah.
A shame.
Otherwise, our grandkids will be speaking Chinese. So.
Mandarin Chinese, I might suggest.
Mm.
And if I were a young person, I would study Mandarin Chinese.
It's not stupid to do at this point. I mean, it's amazing what's happening. What a time to be alive, man. We are witnessing some historical stuff. What a time to be alive.
Yeah. Yeah, we're witnessing the first president in the history of the United States to countenance, engineer, and oversee an invasion of the United States. He is the first to ever do anything like this, and he's doing it, and he's daring you to notice it.
Right. Exactly. It's
235 years, and nobody's ever advocated an invasion of the United States. In fact, we almost went to war with Mexico back in World War I because the Brits got us to buy into a false telegram saying that Germany had promised Mexico the return of New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada if they would help take on the United States and advance the German cause. You had an invasion back the other way when John J. Pershing led the U.S. Army in 1916 across the southern border to get Pancho Villa for some minor raids on some border towns. And now you've got a bigger damn invasion, and the President of the United States is aiding, abetting, and condoning it.
Yeah, well, Pancho Villa was the one who made that cross-border raid in Columbus, Texas. They got in a firefight there. We killed about 75 or so of the Villistas, and about, I think, 8 Texans were killed and 4 or 5 American soldiers. But at least when Pershing did what he did, they at least got the cooperation of the Mexican government, at least initially, to send the troops in to go after Villa.
Yeah, but we're letting it go the other way. Not only are we not fighting back against it, we are encouraging it.
Yeah. Yeah. But what you do, but as you point out, though, Judge, that was the casus belli when Zimmerman sent that foreign minister Zimmerman sent that telegram to the Mexican government saying that if they cooperated in any war with the United States, they would get certain territories back. And
Sarge, you impressing me. Zimmerman, the Zimmerman telegram. There you go.
Right. And that was the resumption of unrestricted submarine warfare, which again relating to today, ensuring the movement of merchant shipping on the high seas, because Germans, remember, they resumed unrestricted submarine warfare, and they'd already assured the United States they were not going to do that, and they wanted to do it. That, combined with the Zimmerman telegram, provided the justification for the declaration of war against Germany.
Very good. Now, anybody listening, next time you want to take on Sarge in a debate, be able to quote such historical facts. Or you know what he's
and speaking of which, Judge, think about it now. I mean, we were willing, in order to ensure merchant shipping movement in the Atlantic, we were willing to go to war with a major world power. And here the Houthis are shifting merchant shipping in the Red Sea in international waters, and it took Sleepy Joe forever to respond to it. And back then, the cause for war against a major power.
Mm-hmm. Look, Ms. Lopez, before I let you go, is there anything in the news? I like to look for hot topics for Friday. Is there anything in the news you think we could?
Girl, I have totally unplugged. My husband comes home and tells me what the hot stuff is for the day. So I had to for my mental health for a little while. You know, this stuff gets me so fired up. It gets me so angry. You know, and it's a. My mother did not go through what she went through to come here to this country legally for all of this to be going on.
Yeah, our hearts and prayers go out to the King family. They just lost Dexter King. That's the one who looks so much like his dad. They lost him to cancer, prostate cancer.
Yeah, prostate cancer.
Please, please, please get your checkups.
Go to the doctor.
Do that. Yeah, definitely.
I know you boys don't like doing that, but you got to go.
I had a colonoscopy and a checkup on that last month, and Doc gave me a clean bill of health.
Amen. Amen. I don't see anything else, Judge. Fulton County Commissioner found guilty of sexual discrimination. The brick lady is back in the news for making false statements against black men. Let me see. Murder pastor caught on video. Texas, massive wave crash. Chase customers ask, where's my deposit?
Oh, yeah. That happened to us. Chase is up to something.
What?
Yeah.
What happened?
Chase. So Chase has something going on with their ACH company. Any payments that we made all through last year and half of the year before were just randomly getting reversed, causing a huge pileup of companies coming after us for these payments that were been taken out, and also the bank itself wanting the money put back in because the money was not returned to the bank, nor did we initiate it. So after doing all this research, something was going on with Chase. You should do the research yourself, so I don't want any heat. But yeah, Chase is up to something. Look it up. Definitely follow that one. That story needs a voice too.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on the list. This is funny. They call him Hiding Biden.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Slow Joe.
That's hilarious.
Slow Joe hiding Biden.
Ethics Committee reaches out to 17-year-old about GAETZ, alleged sex crime. Am I saying that right? GAETZ.
Who? GAETZ?
GAETZ. What's his name?
Matt Gaetz?
It says here.
Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
I met Matt Gaetz, and I have to tell you, growing up, I was in an organization that I was born into, a religious cult that had pedophilia rampant through it. I was assaulted when I was a child. When you are assaulted as a child, you know them when you see them. You can pick them out of a crowd of thousands. You can smell them. You can detect a pedophile far off. And I'm telling you, Matt Gaetz, I actually really like Matt. I don't get those vibes. When I was running for Congress, all it takes these days, you can create a screenshot just using code. I don't know if it's HTML or Java or what the words are, but you can create any image using code. You can do it if you pull up ChatGPT. You can ask the AI to code you out an image, and they completely fabricated. They didn't set this out to the public, but the establishment fabricated emails and text messages, and showed me the fabricated text messages to me as a threat to get me to back out of the race. And then when I said no, they started sending them to my husband. Their warning was, we're going to show him this, good luck. So now I trust nothing that I see in the media at all. I just met the guy in person, and I formed my own opinion, and I don't believe any of that at all. I just don't. He doesn't strike me as the type.
I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, especially when there's a certain aversion they also have to not wanting to be looked at too closely. He didn't seem like he was hiding anything. He didn't have any of the traits that, I would have. It's just, I don't know. If you're a victim of it, you just know them when you see them. You just know. You just know. And then on top of all the evidence of what I went through, I just don't believe it. I can't. I've tried to remain neutral and dig and find information myself instead of letting mass media influence me, but I don't believe that one.
Plus, he's sharp as a tack. I mean, people were really getting on him for his engineering Kevin McCarthy's downfall, but I thought his maneuvers were somewhat masterful, and even though I don't think this guy Johnson is perfect, I think he's infinitely better than Kevin McCarthy. So, I kind of like the results he achieved in that respect. He's pretty sharp. I mean, he's really pretty. I mean, he's sharp as a tack. I mean,
yeah, he is.
You don't find him at a loss for words whenever he's put forward with any proposition or challenge or debate or anything. And his questioning is really incisive at congressional hearings.
Anybody that stands up to the establishment, even when you are in office, there is going to get attacked. It's classic. The first thing they do is smear your reputation. Because everybody just loves a good bit of juicy gossip.
Yeah.
Mm. All right, so there are only a few more things I found interesting. Arizona GOP head Jeff DeWitt stepping down after leaked audio tapes. I like this one. CNN nervous about Biden facing Trump. Something's wrong. I think they're leaning towards his questioning his mental acuity. That's what I'm seeing. Ohio bans
ain't no question about it.
Ohio bans gender-affirming care for minors. I don't know. Will that get us censored, though? Talking about that one?
If all the other stuff we haven't said doesn't get us censored, I don't know.
Quote an article if you have it. Quote an article so they can't say you originated it. You're just discussing topical news.
Okay. All right.
Another newspeak term for gender.
Absolutely. That's absurd. What in the hell? That's like children should be allowed to have a say in the alcoholic content of beverages. What the hell? When do you let children drink?
Man, look, gender-affirming surgery.
Cut their boobs and their dicks off when they start growing.
Gender affirming healthcare is just new speak for sexual mutilation. That's all it is. It's an industry. They're making money off of it.
They're making converts.
I got to get off here, guys. I got something I got to get to. So it was really nice talking to you guys.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful. Great.
Nice to meet you,
Sarge.
I
love having estrogen in the building. Miss Lopez. What an honor.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anytime. Let me know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, come back. Like to see you again.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. That's all I got, guys. That's it. That's all I have. I don't see anything else. Judge, did you want to do a little promo real quick regarding, just say something that Silk's coming on Friday? Silk is
all right.
in the house.
This is Judge Joe. You might want to tune in Friday. Silk is coming. Always interesting, always fascinating. Catch up, see what the latest is. Meanwhile, be safe out there, and Happy New Year to everyone who hasn't heard me say that so far. Be safe. I hope it's okay in the city where you live. Work hard.
This message was sponsored by JJBBBQ.com.
All right, and this message and this programming is brought to you by JJBBBQ, Judge Joe Brown Barbecue. You can go to JJBBBQ.com and order yourself some, or it's available on Amazon, and the shipping is there for you. Judge Joe Brown Barbecue products. Our partners are Tiffany Haddish, Chef Damon, who is Beyonce's personal chef, and a number of black investors. We have on board the only USDA certified meat packing plant owned by a black woman in California, located in Compton. And we are affiliated with Poppy's Bourbon Whiskey, brought to you by Michelle Duke. So join in, help out Black Business Enterprise and their products that you will like and enjoy. Do it.
All right, I think that's it. I think we got everything we need. I think we saved the world today, Sarge, because you said the sky is falling. Sky is falling and the immigrants are crawling.
Well, that's not exactly what I said, but okay, that's close enough for government work.
I like that. The sky is falling and the immigrants are calling.
They're crawling. They're crawling, they're swimming, they walking, they running, they jumping, they cutting, they infiltrating. They're doing all of it.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure I make it very clear, like a separate soundbite, that that person died before that announcement was made. Because I think people miss that. That's a little Easter egg.
You see how scared they are about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. The person was dead when the Border Patrol, the people were dead before the Border Patrol were notified of their predicament. They're already dead. The Texas stories didn't keep them getting to them.
And then I can see the other side, man. You hear what happened, man? It's like, damn, man, they was dead, and the Border Patrol couldn't get to them before they came back as zombies, man.
Ain't that goal, yeah. Before they were allowed to vote.
They would have wanted to make that a big deal as opposed to hide it.
But look, they're going to achieve a form of immortality because the Democrats are going to figure out a way to allow them to vote. So it's not completely over for them.
Holiday named after them.
Yeah, something like that.
The legislation, like they did with John Floyd. We don't have one.
George Floyd, Floyd. Nancy Pelosi can kneel in the Capitol. She can wear a poncho and a sombrero. Yeah, she can wear a sombrero and a poncho, and she can kneel in the Capitol.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean John Floyd. John Floyd is Mammy Fanny's daddy. I know. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. But they'll find a way to commemorate their death. I mean, the Democrats are really good at getting their little horse vessels in there so we can all, get revved up.
They'll name a local airport after them.
Something like that.
Not belittling the dead, but there are enough dead folk in America's cities right now that need to be addressed without you trying to make it more crowded and facilitate the drug trade, criminality that is poisoning them right now.
Absolutely.
Yo, where is okay, death in the desert, 6 killed, this just came out. 6 killed in rural San Bernardino County.
Yeah.
So they just found 6 bodies. Yeah.
Is that in California or Texas?
Well, let me see. What is this? El Mirage, Victorville. Let me see.
El Mirage.
I didn't download this. I was just looking at it.
It's in California. It's in California. San Bernardino County.
It says 6
It's cartel
killed.
related.
Wow.
I can guarantee you that. It's cartel related, and they're trying to keep it secret. Look, they're trying to they're trying to cover up the cartel aspect because it doesn't look good for Joe Biden's border policy. You got it. I'm looking at a picture of the scene. There's shell casings all over the place behind this bullet-riddled SUV. I mean, it looks like there's about 20 or 30 shell casings scattered all around the building, the vehicle that was shot up with the people inside it. I'm positive it was cartel related.
Cartel in the U.S.? Is that what we're doing?
They're already here. We're already worrying about
I'm just saying, it wasn't so public, though. When
you got a human tie.
When was the last time you heard about cartel in the news?
When you got a human tide of people coming into the country, it enables drug smuggling. It makes it far easier than it otherwise would be. There's a tide of human beings coming across the border. It's much easier to conceal drug smuggling. The Border Patrol is busy processing migrants.
PRES is part of this, and they are obscuring mention of cartels to keep from embarrassing Jackass and Chief.
And like I said, the Border Patrol is just busy. They're not patrolling the border. They're processing illegal aliens.